So hello there and welcome to another episode of The Power of Surrender with Hugh, where every day we take a card from the Power of Surrender deck by Dr Judith Orloff and talk about a card a day, basically to help in this difficult time we're all living through, hopefully to give you some food for thought and inspiration for these times. Today's card is Surrender Your Fear of Intimacy. Very, very interesting subject. And let me read what it says to you specifically on the card. It says, you are ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. And I'm gonna say this again, the first part. You are ready to let love in. Now, it's such an interesting subject. I mentioned in one of my recent episodes that I'm doing a yoga course at the moment which is called Return to Love, and this subject comes up a lot. It talks about what are the things that we're doing that are blocking our heart from letting love in, and obviously we have experiences where we get hurt and we sometimes become a little bit bitter or angry. And so are resentful, and so we kind of hold that in. We also tell ourselves things like, I don't deserve love, I'm not good enough for love, that kind of a thing. And these are the kind of things that are blocking that because we're afraid of getting hurt again. And so it's a completely human, understandable thing to feel. What I think is just important is the way that the card breaks it down, because in saying you're ready to let love in, it's a bold statement, to be ready, like I'm ready. Let's do this, because when you kind of get into that position and you're kind of saying I'm ready, then you're obviously broadcasting at I'm available frequency, and that's a lot different than been defensive or concerned about opening up your heart to things. And it's interesting when we talk about it in the yoga course. Obviously we do exercises in the yoga class as well, but this particular course, it was designed in such a way so there's also a written part to it. And so there are exercises where you are actually practicing and imagining opening up your heart and broadcasting at that frequency, which I know can be, it sounds easy when you just say it in a sentence, like just open up your heart, but it is a challenging thing depending on your circumstances. So moving on from that bold statement of letting be ready to let love in, I think it's important when it says compassionately identify. Don't beat yourself up, don't be too hard, be graceful with yourself, be loving with yourself, and compassionately identify and begin to release. And I think it's important it says begin to release, because it is something that is not just going to happen overnight. It's a gradual process. Begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. And as I said, any patterns could be a number of things. It could be things that you tell yourself that you're not deserving, that you're not good enough. It could be resentfulness or bitterness that you're holding on to in regard to love. So this is a process. This is not something that happens overnight. And I think for me, it's like, I know from the card you think it's it's perhaps talking in a relationship specifically, or perhaps in a sexual way, but this is talking out beyond that as well. Because this is the thing is, for me, intimacy can be any number of different things. For example, there are simple things like holding hands, or just being there for a person that can be intimate. It can be having a relationship or a friendship where you can be open and honest and talk about all kinds of different things. There's an intimacy in that as well. So it's basically, really, I guess when it comes down to it, it's talking about trust and opening yourself up to the possibilities with love that are out there. Again, like I said, this is not something that happens overnight for everybody. Some of us, it's easier to flick that switch than others, but definitely it's very, very interesting subject, and definitely food for thought. And again, the reason that I have gone through this deck and taken card by card and done it is because the whole powerful nature of surrender. And as soon as I saw this card, I couldn't open this deck when I saw it in the store, but I just loved the concept of it. I was like, oh my God, that's brilliant. Surrender is a word where sometimes it can be misunderstood as being like I give up or I lose. But surrender is an entirely different thing than that. A very, very powerful thing. It's about letting go. It's about having trust. Not just in yourself and in the world, but in the universe, in your higher power, that the universe has your back, and good things are going to happen for you. So again, I hope you enjoyed the little chat we had here with this card today. I hope you got some food for thought and inspiration from it, and I will be back tomorrow with another card. Have a great rest of your day. Boom.